Hey, good Wednesday morning, everybody. It's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Let's talk about our flood and severe weather threat that's going to be heading our way as we go into tonight and especially Thursday. Let's not really bury the headlines here. We'll start first with the new flash flood watch, which was issued while you were sleeping for all of our mountain counties. Now, this could be expanded. I could see this being expanded into areas of the Piedmont, the foothills, as we get into today, tonight, or even early tomorrow. These flash flood watches are issued based on confidence and time period. So sometimes you wonder why we're not under a flood watch, for a certain time period. It may be too far out in the future and the confidence is low. As we get closer, this will go up. So I would just assume everybody should be ready for flooding. So I would not even worry about the flood watch per se. Everybody should be under that. Now, severe weather risk, update from yesterday. We've got a higher risk down in the Midlands of South Carolina. Down into Georgia. But for the most part, the medium and low threat has not changed all that much for our area. And while I don't want to discount the severe weather threat, I'm going to talk quite a bit about it in this vlog. The flooding is by far our biggest issue. You are more likely, like 10 times more likely to experience flooding tomorrow than you are any severe weather. The next biggest threat is going to be damaging winds. And then the lowest threat is tornadoes. Unfortunately, tornadoes are very dangerous. So even though they're a small threat, there's something to keep an eye on. So that's a look at the severe weather threat. Here's that flash flood threat. You can see we're in the high range across all the areas of the mountains, foothills, and Piedmont. So don't be surprised if you see areas in here get added to a flood watch at some point, especially based on what some of the guidance is showing here in the last couple of days. So here's a look at those impacts again by priority and by level. Flooding is our highest risk, damaging winds second, tornadoes third, and hail. And again, tornadoes are dangerous. They're small, but the overall threat compared to the other ones is pretty small. But for this time of year, this threat is elevated. I'm not going to lie to you. That's for February, pretty significant tornado threat, especially Charlotte South, that area that we showed you with that higher risk in the Midlands of South Carolina. That's the area we're talking about. So this is the updated rainfall forecast from now until 1 p.m. on Friday. And notice the areas in the mountains and foothills back into this area. I told you not to read specifically into totals. And even in this map, don't read. Just get a general idea. Look how everybody is about 3.5 inches or higher. So that if 3.5 is the low end, think about the high end being 7 or 8 inches. So that kind of gives you an idea. And that falling over about a 24 or 36 hour period will cause flash flooding. That's almost a certainty right now. As far as timing here, let me remove my face so it's not in the way. We'll kind of move my face out of the way briefly. And you can see that we're definitely going to see the highest risk now, probably mid-afternoon, as far as severe damaging winds and flooding. And the reason for that is obviously, as we go through time, the flooding risk will increase because of the just accumulation of rain. But a little bit of change yesterday. I think we're now looking at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame for the highest damaging wind and severe weather threat. And as always, my caveat, stay weather aware. Timing and exact impacts will change. So I put that yesterday, and today we're actually seeing some of those changes occurring. So let's go back to the radar, show you what's going on right now, and kind of see the overall impact. So we've got scattered showers today, but the main system is still back here over Texas. This is going to swing through and really kickstart this whole thing. And if I show you the water vapor loop, this really enhances what I'm talking about. You could see this energy. Look at the flow of the jet stream. Straight south and then a right turn, or left turn in this case, if you're going south. But for us, an easterly turn. But pretty impressive to see that sharp cutoff of the trough. And you can see the energy and all the high clouds exploding across Texas and the western Gulf Coast. That's really the area we're watching right in here. That's going to be moving up in this area as we go into tomorrow afternoon. And that's where the potential for that really heavy rain begins to set up. Now, as far as timing of all this, let's go back to the radar real quickly here. I'm going to stop this and kind of show you a couple things on the model guidance in a second. So let me stop this and pause it. And I'm going to go back here and show you a couple things I'm keeping an eye on. Tornado chances for Thursday. 2% over most of our area, but notice the 5% down towards Columbia. Those percentages seem small, but remember, 5% is where things get a little more significant. 2%, that's where I'm keeping an eye on. But the 5% and above for tornadoes is a little bit more significant from a meteorological standpoint. But check out the damaging wind. And again, typo up there. Damaging wind threat is about 15% across our area, but 30% down to the south. So those are the things we're watching for tomorrow. Let me show you how this unfolds in our futurecast guidance. All right, let's show you the hour by hour. So this is our futurecast. We'll go through time here. We go through today. Notice the scattered showers, but notice how things to the west really start to crank up, and to our southwest in particular, as we go into tonight. So this is about 4 or 5 o'clock tonight. We'll get to about 6, 7. This is 8 o'clock. Widespread rain. Again, this is all rain. I don't expect any severe thunderstorms, but back in here is where we're going to see a higher risk for severe storms. But just look at the amount of rain, and notice how over hours after hours of waves of this rain keep pushing in. So this is going into 10, 11 o'clock tonight. We're getting closer to about midnight. We'll go to 2 a.m., 3 a.m., so 4, 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we're at 3:54 a.m. as the model says, but we'll round up to 5 a.m. So 5 a.m., very heavy rain across the area. Look at this line of showers and storms. Go through 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I mean, just wave after wave of rain. Then we get into mid to late morning. There's a lull of some kind. Now, is it going to clear out here? Obviously not. There's going to be clouds. But the fact that the clouds are thinning and it stopped raining means we're getting warm, humid air surging in from the south. Up here, there's a backdoor front. Here, we've got strong winds coming like that. So these winds, as you go up in elevation, are actually rotating counterclockwise. The backing of the winds are really impressive. So that means storms have potential to produce really strong winds at the surface and even rotate. Watch as we go towards about 2:30 in the afternoon, about 2 o'clock, I should say. We'll go to 3 o'clock. So notice the timeline is sped up a little bit from yesterday. We thought this would be more in the evening. This is the main line moving towards the east, in the middle of the afternoon. We go towards 4:30, 5:30, 6:45, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then it moves off, and we're still in rain, by the way, which is heavy rain moving through the area, even more rain into the early hours of Friday. I mean, just the totals are insane. And then, yes, on the backside, there is going to be some pretty good snow in the mountains. I mean, northwest flow snow behind this thing looks really impressive for the mountains. So, I was telling a lot of my buddies who ski, and my Ski Southeast forecast, this is a pretty good snow event this weekend. So if you plan to go skiing, don't let this rain and warm air fool you, because by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's going to be a ton of snow up in the mountains. So I'm going to loop this a couple times, and you can see the way this thing progresses across the area. So obviously a ton of rain, and that's a given. The severe threat is the really only question mark about how widespread it is. At the very least, we're going to see really strong winds mixing down to the surface. The big question mark is the tornado threat. So one of the things I'm watching is that updraft helicity. Are we going to have rotating storms? And the more I look at this potential to the west, you could see some of the storms rotating in eastern Tennessee and Georgia, but this is only going through about 1 o'clock in the morning. So we don't have a real good handle on where these rotational tracks are going to end up. I really think these areas down in here are areas we have to watch. That's probably the highest potential right now for severe weather. But if that warm air should surge north, that could pull more of the Piedmont into the severe weather threat. So again, pretty massive storm system heading our way. Flood watch up. Flood is there's a 100% chance we're going to see flooding somewhere. Heavy rain for everybody. The wind threat's very high. The one question mark is how widespread that is, and how widespread any tornado threat will be right now. Those are still things we're keeping an eye on. So that's the latest this morning. This was a long vlog, a lot to talk about. I will do updates today, tonight, and obviously all day tomorrow. Please stay weather aware. Grab our WCNC News app and our weather app. Grab both of them. Set those alerts up. Charge this bad boy up and have it ready to go all night tonight and all day tomorrow through Friday for potential severe weather and obviously flooding. If you live in low-lying areas, be ready to head to higher ground.